I've heard people say it 1,000 times. There are many innocents behind bars. Some scream, fighting to be heard. Others stay silent and leave it to God. But me? I'm silent because I'm still in shock. Yes, I've left it to God. But even if they hear my cries and declare me innocent, who would I live for? It's all over. Everything's gone. The ones I lived for no longer exist. That day, I finished work completely drained. I called Marwa and asked her to prepare dinner so I could eat quickly and crash into bed. I was exhausted, barely holding myself together. I got in my small car and drove home. When I reached the apartment and stood at the door, something heavy clutched at my heart. I don't know why, but I was scared to open it. I held the key in my trembling hand, confused by what I was feeling. Then I opened the door. And what I saw can only be explained in science fiction movies. My wife and my son, barely 5 years old, were lying on the couch in the living room, covered in blood. But that wasn't the real horror. The real horror was who was standing there. It was me, a copy of me, holding a blood-drenched knife, smiling, that twisted, infuriating smile. I couldn't take it. Everything went dark. I collapsed. Cursed. Execution. Part 1. The trial began. I stood in the defendant's cage, awaiting judgment for a crime I didn't commit. The sentence, death. Every lawyer said there was no hope of reducing the sentence. But what shocked me most, my fingerprints were actually on the knife. The lawyers begged me to fake insanity, to get transferred to a mental hospital. It's better to live as a madman than die, they said. But I refused. I want to die, even if I'm found innocent. Who would I come out to? I had no one else but them. After the defense's final plea, the court ruled to refer my case to the Grand Mufti. I smiled. I accepted the verdict. They took me straight from the courtroom to the transport van. I know none of this makes sense. You're probably asking, what happened? How did your wife and son die? I'll tell you everything. But we have to go back. A year. My name is Farouk Saeed El-Komi. I'm 29 years old. I lived a happy life with my wife Marwa and our little boy Hassan, who had just turned 4. At the time, my father, may God have mercy on him, was still alive. Haj Saeed El-Komi, a wealthy man. He owned 5 shops, 2 buildings, and nearly an acre of land. He was an herbalist by trade. Tried to stay strong in front of others, but inside I was broken, crushed. Only someone who's lost a father, a rock, can understand that emptiness. On the 3rd day of mourning, a man reached out and shook my hand. "Stay strong, brother. Why didn't you call me?" I looked up and saw my older brother, Ez. He was married and living abroad, in Qatar. He left because of constant fights with Dad, fueled by his wife Hanan. She always pushed him toward conflict. Leaving was his only way out. Since then, we barely heard from him. He hugged me and cried, and for the first time in years, I hugged him back. After the funeral, Ez reopened his old apartment with Hanan. I learned he had no plans to return to Qatar anytime soon. I knew why. It wasn't his idea, it was Hanan's. They were here for the inheritance. But I didn't say anything. Everything seemed peaceful. I continued running my father's business like he was still with us. Until 1 week later, the lawyer called. He said we needed to meet. My father had left a will. I called Ez. He was confused. A will? I thought Dad already told the lawyer how to divide everything. We went to the office. The lawyer opened the will and read, I, Syed Mohammed El-Komi, being of sound mind, declare that my estate shall be divided equally between my sons Ez and Farouk, on the condition that my son Ez settles permanently in Egypt. If he refuses, all assets shall go to Farouk. Ez's face turned red. He shouted, "What madness is this? Was your father losing his mind, Farouk? Watch your mouth. Don't talk about our father like that. You're telling me to watch my mouth. Did you forget I'm your older brother? No, Ez, but being older means acting with honor, and right now you're insulting our father. Did you see what's in that will? He's trying to control me, even after death. Didn't you tell me you were planning to stay in Egypt? Yeah, I said that, but only until I got my share. Then I was leaving. Well, now it's official. The will stands. It has to be respected. Forget it. That will means nothing. The living matter more than the dead. We'll divide everything fairly, and I'll take my share and go. That's not happening. Forget it. Fine, Farouk, you'll see. My word will be law. Let's see how you stop me, brother."
From that day forward, everything turned upside down. Why would Dad include such a strange condition? Why not just let him go? Wasn't I dealing with enough? I was trying to think of what to do, my head spinning. I asked Marwa to make me some tea to calm down. Then, a knock on the door. It was his mother-in-law, Hajj Safiya. I didn't expect her. Marwa didn't even know who she was. I welcomed her and introduced her Marwa. She looked at me and said, "Hanani told me what's going on between you and Ez. You're not wrong. Stick to your position." "You're right, Hajja. Please talk to Hanani. Convince her." "I came myself to speak with Ez. Don't worry, he'll listen to me." That gave me hope. Maybe he'd listen. But not even 5 minutes passed, and I heard his voice yelling, "Over my dead body," Hanani said. "Didn't I ask you 1,000 times to come speak up for Farouk?" Her mother replied, "I'm just speaking the truth. A son should respect his father's will." Ez snapped, "That will means nothing. I'll get what's mine." Then a knock. I opened the door. It was Ez. He looked at me and said, "You have 1 week. Give me my share and I'll leave. If not, don't blame me for what happens next." "You're threatening me, Ez?" "Call it what you want. I'm done playing nice." Our voices escalated. It almost got physical. 4 days passed. On the 5th, I came home exhausted. I collapsed on the bed and slept. But when I opened my eyes, I was lying in dirt. In front of me, a body, one I knew too well. My father's corpse. God protect me. His corpse opened its eyes, stared right at me. Insects poured out of his mouth. I screamed and woke up in bed. But when I looked at my hands, the shock was just beginning. If this story chilled your bones, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And whatever you do, don't miss part 2. It's only going to get darker.